cheta emo zona ron lut lawa ani chonin environment and ecology kan kaldona ama saberin definition of environment kan tehi kan ena. The word environment is derived from environment, means to encircle or surround nani French word atrangin chuta chonin a definition hi it is the sum of all socio economic and biological physical or chemical factor which constitute all surrounding of man or living, which is both creator or modular of this environment. Hey chu UGC net in both side natur environment an le khabua tanga kala kania claim anti chip chair do leka chuchun aron soi tumbera chu organism thil nungan ni mo nunglo poni say everything that surround or affect thil nungakha. An organism during its lifetime is collectively known as environment aron titaa. He definition atia hi MCS prelims question apo khanin anron zot to a. Hela yanin aki wada chu. Everything that surround or affect the life. An organism during its lifetime is collectively known as environment. Its environment. Engpo thil nungani mo nilawmo. Ka organism whalvel to in affect its lifetime is collectively known as during its lifetime is known as environment. Kalai ka kan chen chiang. And the term environment is coined by Thomas Carlyle. Lily coined the term environment in Lawrence of Scotland in 1828. The term environment is coined by ang zonga andron zojon heyi kan chen chia veang. Environment can be divided into two types. Component of environment and a biotic le biotic. A biotic kan te chonin non-living sauka. Ani chonin component of environment noya a biotic how he energy, radiation, heat kan ti ang chite, temperature kan ti ang chite, water, atmospheric gases, fire, gravity, topography, soil, heng hau zong zong hi kan che vela. Thil nung lo kan ti ang chi hau min hwal vel tu te jing a hen until ve vek tho. Biotic components noya green plant, non-green plant. Decomposer kan ti ang chite, parasite, symbionts, hey cho biotic bio relation hawa biotic relation or interaction akina kan la soidona kha ang chi hawa kha environment sonin component of environment we have a biotic and biotic chuta chonin biotic noya hianin we have producer producer kan ti ang chite kan naya chung producer how chu autotrophs kan ti how khani autotrophs auto self kan ti kha AUTO autotrophs kan ti hana kina kan la soidon thawa heng producer how hianin photosynthesis mangin an mani cho turan siama hala en photosystem kan ti hi chinhnia photosystem 1 le photosystem 2 kan ti hi aron oma. Photosystem is process of green plant to make their own food by taking carbon dioxide CO2 from the atmosphere and water vapor kantika aron umton boka and in presence of sunlight. Ani chon photosynthesis omtur chon sunlight kanti omnge ngai chung hau chon engen siam don kanti chonin sugar C6H12 O6 kanti le byproduct ka oxygen kanti hi O2 kanti hi anron pe chuak dona ani chonin P1 sa chonin sunlight kanti hi anron op sunlight kanti hi green plant thau khan an la lu don ti nan green plant kanti hau hin sunlight kanti hi an la lu tanga. Chota chonin absorption of sunlight by green plant kanti hi enginge pui kanti chon hi plant cell launita se plant cell kanti kha alaunita he plant cell a hianin sunlight kan ti hi absorb angaya chumi absorb tir tu pigment ta chu chlorophyll ani a pigment called chlorophyll chu chlorophyll chu khoyange kan hmu kan ti chon chloroplast kan ti a hianin noma first stage P1 a hianin helaya chloroplast kan tia chlorophyll om hianin sunlight kan ti hi alo absorb ta a chu wang chonin helaya chloroplast kan tia electrons om hi he electrons om hi sunlight atanga energy aron lu khan it become excited atom pa amain kan soitoin ka ria physical geography akhani when the electrons or an atom become excited state aron oma he electron hi aron release tani chu electron aron release chu electron transport chain kan tia khan aron kala transport chain ani chon helaya electron chua ka hi supplement turin water kan ti ki aron in split ve tani water kan ti hi H2O kan ti hi aron in splita and then oxygen kan ti hi byproduct ka O2 kan ti ka aron pe choka he hydrogen kan ti hi excited state anron umta and then helaya electron choka hi aron supplement tani chu wang chonin photosynthesis P1 a chon absorption of light kan ti kha sun reaction during sunlight kan ti kha aron omanga and split of water molecules is in P2 stage photosystem 2 kan ti khanin split of water molecules kan ti kha aron thlenganga and then sugar kan ti khan ron siam chok don glucose kan ti lo pon a sugar kan ti po kana inang ri thawa and then byproduct ka O2 kan ti kha anron nei tani byproduct ka O2 kan ti kha aron omta photosystem kan ti kha chihnia photosynthesis astai sakha chihnia kan thlen thaya chota chonin P1 ta absorption of sunlight P1 absorption of sunlight by green plant absorption of sunlight by green plant kan ti kha plant cell po chloroplast kan ti a khanin chlorophyll kan ti kha oma chu chonin absorption kan ti kha alocal pui chu P1 stage absorption of sunlight and then helaya electrons omaka become excited and then release electron transport chain kan ti khanin aron kalta he electron transport chain tang hianin thylakoid kan ti khan aron kalanga thylakoid cha hianin energy kan ti kha aron in siam dona kha chu a reaction zong chu kan thiam khera ngai lo kan thiam tur chu sunlight kan momo chlorophyll kan momo boka and then split of water molecules kan ti a thlena ngai chu wang chonin carbon dioxide thi by taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and then we need water molecules and then presence of sunlight kan ti hi kan momo boka and product enge kan ti chonin green plant khan an ma ni cho tura kha anron siama and byproduct oxygen kan ti hi anron pe choka he oxygen hi mihringtan or animals kan ti tan kanin kan nun nar aron levele tapani kha hawaka photosystem or photosynthesis stage 1 le 2 stage 2 hianin splitting of water molecules kan ti kha athleng ti lai ka kan chin chi ang ecology pata kan kalang environment kan ti kha chu everything which surround us and affect during the life of an organism kan ti kha are collectively known as environment kan ti kha aron ni dona and ecology tang hianin khoi son hlui an ron zo to chu the term ecology was coined by Ernst Haeckel ti lai hi an ron zo to boka the term ecology is coined by Ernst Haeckel kha kan chin chiang ecology kan ti hi enge omje kan ti chon entirnan individuals kan ti kha alo oma entirnan Mr. X timenga Mr. X kan ti hilo oma or species pakat khala oma anilapon nangma anilapon keima kalau tani ani chonin ka omna ka ruma hianin monitor kan ti te phone kan ti te chu tiang bokin achangin kabul hnaya midang pon mei thai ani chonin individuals kan ti hian immediate surrounding of an individual is known as habitat ti turani habitat ka omna immediate surrounding of an individual is known as habitat ka chen na munaka habitat kan ti chuni immediate surrounding of an organism is known as habitat chu ka chen na chonin thil nungpo omanga omlo pon omang ka chung te pon ni thaya ani lo pon fridge kan ti te tv kan ti ang chi te thut thleng kan ti ang chi ho te pokhat living and non living an chu thil nung le nung lawan chu wang chonin study of the interaction of organism with each other and their non-living things is known as ecology. Ecology is defined as scientific study of the relationship of the living organism with each other and with their environment is known as ecology. Kha living organism kha oma midang tenen anilapon non-living things tenena an relationship ani interaction an idan an relation kha zirchian kha ecology kan ti chu aron nitani. The term ecology was coined by German geologist Ernst Haeckel. He kan chinchia bokang. Environment definition kha country environment consists component of environment biotic and abiotic country and ecology a meaning country definition and then we term the coins ecology kan chinchia bokanga tun nai kop 29 COP 29 kan ti ka post by chata minlo chang te u COP 29 kan ti ka Baku capital city of Baku kan ti ka Ramping Baku kan ti ka dika a city niya chonin yes Azerbaijan Baku Azerbaijan kan ti khanin environment United Nations where environment conference of parties COP 29 kan ti khanin thil pakhat tun man soi thin amar chu tun maya anron soi tharle aron umta chu wang chonin lekhabua basica chuan kan mulo he deep ecology kan ti le shallow ecology kan ti hi kan chin chianga ya he thila hi the concept of deep shallow and deep ecology was introduced by Ness in 1970 ten khata chonin 1972 ti te poron omang amar chu 1970s ti hianin zekila adik dau bera 1972 kan ti poka i source genuine dau aporon thawa 1970 ti ho pokaron thawa chu wang chon 1970 sa he what shallow and deep ecology kan ti hi aron ta a chu pa chonin engeron soi shallow ecology kan ti le deep ecology kan ti kha a difference ka kan hriata ngai shallow ecology a chonin khovel pum pui kha tian loziak taila kan da poimo ber tura chu mi hring te ni men kan ti kha kan da poimo ber chu ta chonin short term measure shallow ecology is a political position that environmental preservation should be practiced to the extent that it meets human interest. Apoimo bera shallow economy achon mi hring kha apoimo bera kan da short term measure kan ti ang chi ho te kha kan zir kan entry nani amra chu deep ecology a fe thong chuan art kan ti kha aleimu kan da ta he chon long term measure kan ti kha aron zong ve thonga deep ecology deal with humans should change their relationship with nature yes a lawang hai chu current affairs amenia chu wang chonin static pata kan hungai lawa deep ecology kan ti le shallow ecology a hianin a main difference kha enge kan ti chuanin main difference shallow economy a chuanin human interest kha kan da poimo bera mi hringa kha leimo kan ta kan te nani and deep ecology ve thong chun relationship with nature kan ti kha alaya akora arunda ta. The main objective of deep ecology is to sustain nature by making large scale to human lifestyle. Ane chon human activities kan ti ang chi rang he kan nature or kan environment ti chethai ang chi zong kha deep ecology kan ti chonin aron soidona kan relation kha shallow ecology a ve thong chonin human interest ka kan da poimonga center mihring kantika kandanga. Shallow ecology is also termed as weak ecology because it includes the use of vehicles and that causes less pollution. Green energy or CNG kantite heng ang chi hote heng howi chon aron soidon ti nani mihring in vehicles manglawin tuna chon kan khosa thei to lo transportation na chu wang chonin apoimo bera khanin mihring aronda don shallow ecology deep ecology chun art kha asentara aronda don khalaya kha kan chinchianga the term deep ecology and shallow ecology was coined by Ernst Nash kan ti kan chinchianga khalaya te kha level of organization in ecology he thila hi question ronzo nan po an mang to a alen dan in totin re mangai theina ecology study from individual levels. He thila po hi andon zoto. Cellular level atangin a study lo. Cell kan ti hi timur, group of cell kan ti chonin tissue, group of tissue organ kan ti ang chihaw ka aron omdon. Amar chu ecology study from individual level. He individual level hi chung kwain anlo oma. Or same species kan ti ang ka anlo kom chuan population ani. Chu population na chu thil dang nen interaction aron omta a and then community kan ti kha aron insiam internan fish kan ti kha aloma afa te poni thaya tro ama an pui ang chi kha population kan ti choni amar chu octopus kan ti te grass kan ti te khang ho kha community ni thil dang kan ti nen khanin anron infinto thil nung dang nen khanin community a chon nam khatlek kha anom thei to lo mi hring ang zong pon han soila mi zo kan ti kha mi zo population ani maya amar chu vai ho te nen kan in chen pol chon mi zo population a khanin vai kan ti de pon om to chonin community mizoram community zong in kan soyang haya and then ecosystem kan ti ve thonga chu structural and functional unit of biosphere tin nakina kan la define don ani chon ecosystem a chonin anternan mai thingkung alo oma chu thingkung chon ra lo neya he ara hi atla saju kan ti te ponan lo ai mai the squirrel kan ti ten ani lopon sava kan ti te ponan lo tlan thaya and fangmir kan ti ang chi te po an lo om the ecosystem pakhat ecosystem kan ti kha thingkung pakhat chau poni thaya ani lopon thingklu pakhat ringota po khanin ecosystem kan ti kha om thai anil pon lei noi rengot te anil pon river pakhatlek ta poka ecosystem an ni thai biome ve thong chon na chena wal climate kan zer ang khanin biome kan ti chu climate rang ho ka tundra kan ti ang che te anil pon desert kan ti ang che te anil pon tropical evergreen forest kan ti ang che te kha biome kan ti kha aron ni don ani choni biome pakhat nuaya khan tropical evergreen forest kan ti nuai pokan ecosystem khat che rang an om thei don tam taka om thei don and then biosphere kan ti kha alian bera aron om don tani biosphere kan ti hianin it will constitute atmosphere kan ti te lithosphere kha chu len kan ti kha ni maya and then hydrosphere kan ti kha aron ni bokang atmosphere lithosphere hydrosphere helai area nunna bio kan ti kha life om theina tur area zonga kha biosphere kan ti chu aron ni don ti nani biosphere kan ti kha khalai area chin hawa kha aron ni doda ecology study from individual level sakha kan nota kan lo revise sanga kan lo chiar nga population kan ti kha kan lo chiar bokanga community kan ti khanin population na chonin same species an omanga community a chon different species kan ti kha anron to don different species hela hian community a hianin population akha based on their size major population kan ti kha chonin they will not depend on neighboring population major population kan ti kha neighboring population akhanin engma anin depend lawang enternan heng hawi chon grass kan ti kha lo oma kan hianin grass kan ti kha community lo oma he grass hian enge mamo kan ti chonin chosiam na tan sunlight kan ti kha amamo chu wang chonin grass kan ti kha lo tam bera grass housing a khanin saha kan ti ten lo oma amaro chu community a major population kan ti kha major kan ti kha it bigger population anianga and then minor kan ti kha anron om ve pokang heng minor how hi chon they will depend on larger population or they will depend on neighboring community or population kan ti kha aron ni don fish kan ti khanin enge chota na man don helaya grass kan ti kha chota na manangai anilapon grassland akhanin engtenge omthin herbivores kan ti ten omthin grass ain herbivores kan ti kha antam thailo chuwang chon grassland kan ti meya tro chuwang chonin community kan ti akhanin based on their size in can define a major community kan ti chonin bigger size population kha atam zo kha they will depend on a biotic factors rainfall climate kan ti achi te khan an depend nga amaro chu minor community kan ti te khachuan they will depend on neighboring community major community le minor community kha community an oma chung ho chu yes hela hianin aron omboka major community depend they will depend only on a biotic factor minor community they will depend on neighboring community khalai kha andang lamna ecosystem structural ecosystem definition hi minron zo thutpon structural and functional unit of biosphere ti lai kha kan chin chiang the term ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tensley ming pathum kan mutoa the term environment was coined by tite pali zo kanimo kan muto environment the term environment was coined by tika kan mutoa Thomas Carlyle and ecology uncycle chonin shallow and deep ecology concept hi aren't nest kantika kan muto boka and then ecology kantik hala hianin ecosystem kanti AG Tensley kantika aron omleta boka the term ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tensley he chin chiang ngai to chunin ecology a hianin ecosystem kan soi main ecology a hianin chini kan nei thaya ecology can be classified into two types chota chuanin auto ecology auto ecology kan ti chuanin study of individual organism or individual species ti nani auto ecology means study of individual organism or individual species auto ecology means study of individual organism or individual species kantika aron dona and then sin ecology kanti hiron omvele dona sin ecology chu enge omzia kanti chuan study of group of species aron ni ve thongang sint ecology SYNE sint ecology. Sint ecology means study of group of organism of different species. So different species, study of group of different species, study of group of different species. Hey, sint ecology kan ti chu aron ni ve thonga. Ecology kan ti kha ti khanin kan kalkan thei ta and then ecosystem. And teran mehring hi structural and functional unit of life is known as cell kan ti ang chia khan. Anilapon kidney chuan structural and functional unit of kidney is called nephron kan ti ang chia khan. Ecosystem kan ti po hian biosphere kan ti nunna thei na turin ecosystem po hi structural and functional unit of biosphere tin definition hi pek turani consisting community of living beings in physical environment both interacting and exchanging material between them. It includes plants, tree, animal, fish khang chi ho chu ecosystem kha chu a zia kan reto a tuna chonin ecosystem term coin to kha ag translate ania structural and functional unit of life of biosphere zia po kan reto. Component of ecosystem a biotic component and biotic component heta tang ringot po hianin zona anron ti chok to kati kha environment kan ti ajongan chevel thil khani me environment kha chona pom zawlu to ka chota chonin ecosystem component of ecosystem energy, rainfall, temperature, atmosphere, latitude, altitude. Nunna thaina turin a biotic factor. Energy kan ti te rainfall kha atlak tlem chuan ro tu ye tlem chuanin evergreen forest kan ti te po thailo tro chu wang chuanin component of ecosystem a biotic component na energy, rainfall, temperature, atmosphere, latitude, and altitude kan ti te biotic component noya primary producer achina autotrophs ti kha kan soi to a heng ho hianin an ma ni in cho anin siam thei chu wang chon autotrophs kan ti lo pon producer primary producer an ni chung ho chu atlang puin green plant kan ti ang chi thing tree kan ti te grass kan ti ang chi hawa te kha an ron ni don and certain bacteria and algae consumer aeral tu kan ti te kha heterotrophs chung ho chu heterotrophs kan ti ang chi ho khai ring ai kan ti ang chi te and then consumer are incapable of producing their own food anmani in chon siam thrilawa consumer ho they depend on organic food derived from plants, animals, or both. Consumer can be divided into two types kan tia into two broad types. Macro consumer heng ho hi a basic view na amaro chu kan soi ver hrim mang herbivores thai hring chok ai kan ti ang chi ho ka cow rabbit kan ti te carnivores kan ti ka heng ho hi chonin sa hring chok they feed on herbivores and omnivores which consume both plants and animals. Thai hring le sa ai kop thai ang chiao kha omnivores heng ho hi zo na arun kalpon consumers ania macro consumers ani producer kan ti te kha autotrophs kan ti kha producer ania heng ho hi grass kan ti ang chi te tree kan ti ang chi ho te kha producer ani ti lai kha kan chin chianga and then micro consumers a hianin decomposer kan ti ang chi ho kha sapotrophs kan ti ho hi micro consumers or sapotrophs kan ti te decomposer ani hela hianin kan chin chia to ra chu they are bacteria and fungus. Mushroom kan ti kha fungus kan ti akhan antel ve ti lai kha kan chin chia don nia mushroom are not parasite they are fungus or decomposer kan ti kha heng ho hi mushroom kan ti te poi decomposer in under 5 kingdom of classification na kina biology kan de nang 5 kingdom classification kingdom protista kanti ang chi haute kingdom fungus or fungi kanti ang chi te animalia plantae ati ang chi haute kana kina five kingdom classification kan zer huna kan la enanga amr chu fungus kanti akhanin mushroom te po hi fungus anni and then they are under decomposer mushroom kanti te kha heng ho hian ngen ti kanti chuan which obtain energy and nutrients by decomposing dead organic substance of plants and animal origin pa kanti ang chi ho kha pa khoi kanti ang chi ho po kha khoi angen khoi thin kanti chuanin bu pol kanti anga chi te khan an khoi thin chu dead plants kanti anga teng chanin nutrients kanti ka an lo la ve a chu wang chuanin khang ho kha decomposer kanti ang chewa saprotrophs kanti ang chewa an ron don khalai kha kan chin chiang classification of ecosystem biotic component le abiotic component noma chuta chunin natural ecosystem le terrestrial ecosystem le aquatic angin kan then sang thaya chuta chon terrestrial a chonin forest grassland and desert aquatica fresh water saline water and marine water kan ti kha aram ve thong ela hian marine kan ti hianin thuk lutuka khanin ternan water kan ti kha alo ta surface level atangin thuk do even sunlight cannot penetrate kan ti thleng tur kha thuk tak kha aram thinani khatiang area tui thuk tak sunlight po mu thai to lo na khanin benthos kan ti hi helai zone hi benthos tin an soi thi terrestrial ecosystem noya forest grassland desert kan naya aquatic noya fresh water saline water marine water noya hianin thuk dawa sunlight po to lo na tura khanin thil nung khan lo la le thina ni khalai zona kha benthos anti chu aron ni dona and then living organism which does not need sunlight min ron zo chu no an organism which does not need sunlight is called chemosynthetic bacteria hi kan chen che don no an organism a living organism which does not need sunlight are called chemosynthetic bacteria chemosynthetic bacteria an organism which does not need sunlight are known as chemosynthetic bacteria so na chi na khanin englo kha ka soi main ka ria photolysis means process of green plant to make their own food in presence of sunlight kan ti kha presence of sunlight energy an mani cho tur an siam cho dana kha photolysis kan ti chu aron ni ve thongang process of green plant to make their own food in presence of sunlight are known as photosynthesis kan ti ba kan photolysis ti pon an soi thi halaya ka kan chin chi adon nya ecosystem are capable of maintaining their state of equilibrium ecosystem kan ti khanin thingkung pakhat chau poka ecosystem ani thaya ani lopon kodang ringot pokha enge se phung kan ti te ani lopon enga mani bom tu ten lo thina ani lopon river pakhat chau pokha ecosystem ani thai kan ti to kha so wangchon ecosystem are capable of maintaining their state of equilibrium they can regulate their own species structure and functional process this capacity of ecosystem of self regulation is known as homeostasis hi a meaning minlo zo thaya chu wangchonin capacity of ecosystem of self regulation is known as homeostasis kan ti la hi kan chin chiang hem chena hi ecotone internan terrestrial ecosystem kan ti ka le na mini aquatic ecosystem kan ti ka tu yamin ni chung ho chu transition zone kan tika terrestrial ecosystem le aquatic ecosystem in sui khom na zona khanin transition zone kan tika ani chunin tuya cheng kan ti te khomuala cheng kan ti te bo kha kan hukop nuai don ti nani tuya cheng thai le khomuala cheng thai ang chi ho te po kan don chu wang chon a zone of junction between two or more diverse ecosystem is known as ecotone. Mangrove forests represent an ecotone between marine and terrestrial ecosystem. So wangchon mangrove forest kan ti ang chi te. Sundarban kan ti ang chi, Sundarban kan ti ang chi te ka. Transitional area, ecotone kan ti khani khalai area ka rich in biodiversity. Thil nung chi sang ka antam don kalaya ka land zone le aquatic zone unintonalized or a zone of junction between two or more diverse ecosystems is known as ecotone. Helai hi kan chin chia don nia he ecotone thian H effect kan ti hi aron keng tela ani chonin ecosystem A le ecosystem B unintona zona hianin adaptation kan ti kha aron sang don ani ani lapon helampang area tang le helampang area tang hianin cheng thai ang chi ho ka kup thai ang chi te anrun don chu wang chonin helai H effect kan ti chu ecotone ne khanin aron in relate dona sometimes number of species and population density of some of the species is much greater in the ecotone than in adjacent community. This is known as H effect. And ternan may organisms which occur primarily or mostly abundant in this zone are known as H species. And ternan amphibians kan ti ang chi utrok kan ti ang chi te uchang kan ti ang chi ho te pokha khomwala le tuyan thai amaro chu atlang puin uchang kan ti ang chi ho te kha chu tuya an tam zo ka amar chu khomwala pon thai thawa tro khang tiang chi ho ka H species kan ti chun ron dianga ecotone kan ti ang chi ho khan khalai area khanin species kan ti ang chi ho ka an density aron sang thena ni some species. Sometimes the number of species and the population density of the some of the species is much greater in the ecotone. This in adjacent community. This is known as H effect. Example, terrestrial ecosystem. The H effect is especially applicable to birds. Density of birds is greater in the ecotone between forest and desert. H effect condition ecosystem pani in rina ecotone region borvel khan rannung tam takaka anla thina bat kan ti ang chi te pokha desert ai chonin forest khalai umna borvel khanin aron tam don ti na ne chowang chon khalai ang chi hawakha H effect kan ti chu aron ne fedon ecological succession ve thunga hi atira chonin rock kan ti kharon oma rock katang hianin lichen pate kan ti ang chi te aron in siama and then grass kan ti ang chi te anua khan chi rang kha thil nung kan ti kha aron chau tan ta a ecological succession pointer species intermediate species and climax species kan ti hi most stable are climax species most stable are climax species khalai kha chin chi tur chu chong lo nain andin mun ve shim kha ecological succession na chu enternan temperature wangpo ni thaya altitude wangpo ni thaya tlanga foothills a chonin evergreen forest kan hua tlanga lo sang dawa mountain forest temperate forest and taiga kan ti ang chite aron chho due to climate factor awang tepon ecological succession kan ti ang chi kha aron thaya ani lopon invader foreign species kan ti ang chi ho tepo main mate awang tepon aron the succession is process in which series of community replace one another due to large scale destruction either natural or man-made until a stable mature community develop tun naya environment succession kan ti ang chi ho tepo aron thleng thi antirna mai palak dil kan ti Mizorama dil dian ber kan ti palak dila hianin native species pon omang amaro chu tilapia kan ti ang chi ho Galilee đi là native chú tilapia kan ti ang chi hauka Galilee ti hini chu ta tang chonin mun sang tilapia kan ti ang chi hauka an ron la choka Mizoram palak dila te pu khat yang chi hauka an lo chua palani henga wa hi anin tha pung chak bok sia cho native species kan ti te kha an lu ala na nga food competition te lo om phei chuan khang hauka an ron lu alan mei don ani chu wang chonin tun naya ecological succession kan ti anga chi te hianin enge hlo omber kan ti chonin main mate khami invasive species kan ti ang chi hauka mi hringa wangin enternan eucalyptus kan ti te po hi an sang du ro poisia an nung du boxia Australian ni a native location or origin chu amar chu Mizoram thleng pon eucalyptus kan ti ang chi te po an ron introduce ta an nung du boxi an sang boxi an bul hnaya mi te kha an deep thin ani chu wang chun most danger of ecological succession is caused by man-made invasive species kan ti ang chi ho kha enge pakhat hnim thingkung ate po an bet do thina a hrui ang chi ho chu awar angin oma zapan hlo ni chi asi lo kha e a ming ka hret me lo mi zo tong khan engting on soi ka hrelowa khatiang chi ho kol dai kan ti anga chi te po khanin an bet vak thin an khang ti ang chi awar ho khan an bo chuaya khang hawa parasite an nia thingkung ate or kol dai kan ti anga chi te khan an lo bet vaka chung ho chon nutrients kan ti kha khatiang host plant atang khanin an la chong ve le thina ni an nung du em le ngala khang tiang ho che po invasive species kan tiang chi ho kha an ron ni ta a chung ho chuanin ecological succession kan tiang chi ho te po hi an ron thlentir thina chunin claim lai do khan African giant snail kan ti po kha Mizoram apokan kan mutawa African giant snail chung ho po chu Africa ramatanga eng tin monia India ram ron thleng Mizoram thlenga po kan mu ta ka kha aron ni ta ni chu ecological succession kan ti noi a chuanin a series of communities replace one another due to large-scale destruction, either natural or man-made, until a stable, mature, complex develop kantita. So wang chonin achina palak dil kantia te pokhan tilapia sanga kanti ang chi ho te pokha. Anwa chonin tha chak pung chak boksia. Khang ho climate species kanti khan anron tang thayani. Chu thila chu andulawa environmentalist kanti ang chi te. Ani lapon zoologist kan ti ang chi ho te pon he tiang thil hi a thalo ve ti ang chi te pokha an lo au chho poi ve thin kha le biome kan ti kha chu climate ti khat so non major vegetation type in associated fauna found in specific climate zone China terrestrial area biome refers to terrestrial area aquatic system like sea river are also divided into distinct life zones fresh water lake om thai ang chi te ocean a chau om thai ang chi te nakina biodiversity flora and fauna kan ser kuna kan la entura ngayela sunlight ina a penetrate thai na china khanin photosynthesis kan ti te po om thai kan ti kha am chu beyond penetration of sunlight no hi chonin benthos kan ti kha om don ti kha kan chin chi abokang biosphere consists of hei zona run kal thaya biosphere consists of atmosphere hydrosphere lithosphere biosphere consists atmosphere hydrosphere and lithosphere hemi area china nunna om thai na tur china kha biosphere kan ti chu aron ni tani bio means life sphere means biala khani metro chumi nunna om thai na tur chin lithosphere kan ti chu land hydrosphere water and atmosphere khalai area china kha biosphere kan ti chu aron ni tani the term biosphere was given by Edward Swiss in 1875. Hetiang basic key concept or atram ang chi coin to ang chi ho hi chin chi ngai net exam na po anzota chutiang bokin GS khoi sonanga chete po anron siam thin Ecocline kan ti hi aron om vele ta H effect kan ti le ecoton kan ti neng khanin ain ang tho renga a om zia chu amar chu thil danglam ve hlek lai chu ecosystem A kan ti le B kan ti hi alo oma ecosystem hianin he ecosystem me hian deciduous forest kan ti hianin species X kan ti khalo oma he species X hi grassland a chon anung thailawani example a grassland a chon an om thailawani so tiang bokin grassland species aka he deciduous forest a hianin y hi species y hi a om thailo boka chu wangchon ecocline kan ti la ya tak chu zone of gradual but continuous change zone of gradual but continuous change aron ka hiam char char ta ni en grassland aron enton nu ka chonin hu tur kha an om talawa chu tiang bokin species y hi grassland atangin deciduous forest aron lu thak nu chon population density ka ataniam ve char charate chonin ecosystem hemi deciduous forest ai chonin hu tur anom talafani ani chonin no sharp boundary between the two terms of species composition antlak niam na thu takha ani don no helai transitional area gradual but zone of gradual but continuous change from one ecosystem to another helai area kan ti hi ecocline kan ti chu aron ni don ecocline kan ti mona chunin ecosystem B or ecosystem grassland atang kanin ecosystem danga khanin anin adapt thai don lowa transitional area atop muk don lowa amar chu there was gradual but continuous change from one ecosystem to another helai area hi ecocline kan ti chu aron ni donani it occur across environmental gradient zone of gradual but continuous change from one ecosystem to another ecocline kan ti le ecoton kan ti khai nang lawa ecotona chonin two ecosystem kan ti in to na mun kha terrestrial le aquatic poni thaya helai area kan ti hianin ecotona kha chonin species kan ti ang chite po an tambik kan ti kha chi rang ranga kha H effect kan ti ang chite po kan hmuwa ecocline na ve thong chonin density of species y kan ti kha ecosystem danga khanin ain adapt thai don lo chu wang chonin physical boundary aron ni dona physical boundary a zone of gradual but continuous change from one system to another zoi muang khan atlan hi amdon he ecocline kan tia hi chon species kha kan va nb ka chu species a chu grassland atangin deciduous forest khan ain adapt thai don lo chu wangchon khami a decline na area bor vela kha ecocline kan ti chu aron ni don ti na ne ecological night heta tang hian zona aron om ve thina unique functional role and position of species in its habitat or ecosystem ecological night kan ti enge om zia kan ti chuan food competition kha alo om thina ni food competition kan ti kha alo om thina ani lo pon habitat ang zong pon aron om thaya chu wang chonin heng hawa hianin ecological night kan ti chon unique functional role la hianin play by an ecosystem khalai khanin unique functional role and position of a species in its habitat or an ecosystem so unique functional role and position of species so ta chon enge om zia kan ti chonin enternan mai me thingkung alo om ta a he thingkunga hianin heng sawa ho hianin helai a lera a chau hian om vek tum ta selang chonin a thai don lo competition omanga survival of the fittest kan ti kha aron mai don Tro survival of the fittest kan ti kha aron mai don ani lopon tiger na huna khanin mihring ve don taila enge kan ai du song both are men and tiger are omnivores. Omnivores means those consumer which can eat both herbivores and both can feed on grass or plants and animal kan ti kha sale grass ai kop thai ang chi ho ka omnivores kan ti choni mihring le tiger kan ti hianin lo dun taila food competition don chuwang chonin men animal conflict kan tiang chi kha a omanga achak zo kha kan ding changa chuwang chon survival of the fittest kan ti hnuai po khanin exclusion kan ti kha a thinani exclusion kan ti kha a thina chuwang chonin no two species in a habitat can have the same night because of competition with one another until one is displaced. Kiki chinchiatur. Species pani kanin unique functional role kan tika kha ecosystem akanin annai thailo. Chuwang chonin no two species in a habitat can have the same night unique functional role kan tika or same position kan tika. No two species in a habitat can have the same position because of competition with one another until one is displaced. Chuwang chonin ecological night condition unique functional role or and position of a species in its habitat or ecosystem kantichu aronita a. Chuta chonin night kanti kan habitat pon thaya resources ang zong pon ani thaya interaction ang zong pon. Enternan la yanin diagram karon ta mo karon ta lo ne mo enternan thingkung alo ta a chu thingkung chu bat tan chon nes siam nan pon aron ni thai ta ni nes siam nan pon aron ni thaya kha thingkung kha alo para apar zu kha b kan ti te pon an lo tlan thaya ani lo pon henga wi thingkung hi apar kha alo ra alo tla a chu ara kan ti chu amua kha seed germination om thaina torin squirrel kan ti ang chi hoten an lo ai vele a chu ani chonin kha ecosystem a khanin species rang khan they play a unique functional role ecosystem a khanin they play different species play unique functional role no two species can have in a habitat can have the same night unique functional role kan tikas different species kan tikanan nai thailawa birds an ne khachon ne satanten man thaya b kan tikhachonin chu germination sorry pollination a khan b kan ti chonin alo puile thaya khang thingkung te kha lo para ti chonin pollination a b an lo tang kai le a ani lo pon heng ho hi pollination ani lo pon pangpar kan ti khan b alo nita internet heng ho an ra te lo tla a an ra kha alo tata a and then heng ho hi seeds kan ti ang chi te pokha germination om theina turin ara akor ang chi te lo khe honga lo ai tu ra khanin squirrel kan ti teron le ta ni ani chonin ecological night means unique functional role and position of a species in a habitat or ecosystem kan ti ka ecological night aron ni dona no two different species can have the same night because of competition amaro chu khalaya survival of the fittest kan ti kha tuna chonin theory pakhat survival of the fittest darwin a asoi baga khanin theory pakhat aron oma so theory a chonin pattern of distribution an ron ta chuta chon atop ayanin heng sawahi internan alo omta then khatin atop kha an lo oma then khat mita so habitats kan ti ang chi te pokha alaya turte alera turte tikhan anlo insim ve ta ne chu pattern of distribution tin an soi ve thonga amar chu khathi lakha apoi mober lawa ecological night kan ti kha kan thiamanga unique functional role of a species in its habitat or ecosystem kan ti kha ecological night kan ti chu ronidona and then no two different species can have same night in its habitat kan ti kha same functional role unique functional role kha different two species kan an nei thei lo ti lai kha kan chin chiang and then hemi hi classification of ecosystem mitem soi zo lo loi la ecosystem kan ti kha chu kan resa to a biotic component kan ti te biotic component kan ti te pon oma chung ho chu interaction kan ti khan lo nei nga chu ecosystem chu ron ni me ya ecosystem kan ti unique functional and structural unit of biosphere kan ti to kha all ecosystem are environment but not vice versa all environment are not ecosystem tinani all ecosystem are environment but not vice versa the ecosystem has two component biotic and abiotic achu amain kan soi to biotic component le abiotic component kha khoi sun hluya po anron sot le ringota biotic component ta tel tur le abiotic component ta tel tur ang chi te kha anron sot thin so ta chonin classification of ecosystem noya terrestrial ecosystem le aquatic ecosystem kan nei thaya man-made ecosystem kan ti po kan nei the reservoir ponds kan ti te agriculture field ta nilapon paddy field kan ti ang chi te po kha man-made ecosystem noya kan da thaya energy flow kan endona energy is the basic force responsible for all metabolic activities breaking down the flow of energy from producer to top consumer is called energy flow which is unidirectional energy flow kan ti ki alet le thai to lo unidirectional kan ti chonin bai ani lo ti kha chin chiang hal tur bai ani lo ti kha energy flow kan ti energy pyramid kan ti te pona kina kan soi don chuta chon energy pyramid is always upright ti te po kha kan le endona ela hian trophic level kan ti hi oma and tianan producer kan ti hau khan 100% kan ti kha sunlight kan ti tang khanin example sunlight hi eng angpon 100% energy kha lo dong ma sela another trophic level hi chonin 10% kan ti kha akal zel don chu wang chonin grass ina energy amamo tlem lai khan heta atopa trophic level apex predator kan ti te hi chonin internan mi hring anga lo in ngai taila mango pakhat ringo ta kha kan kham don lo apple pakhat le ka kha ni leng in kan por zau don lo chu wang chon trophic level tina hian energy kha kan momu kha kan aya tang khan atlem zel do na internan producer kan ti hi chon energy sunlight atang an hu kha aron tam chu wang chonin grass kan ti hau ka chonin sunlight khan lo honema amar chu deer kan ti khanin khagra sakha ai khan amamo khop energy ai tur chuan 10% chawakha aron in pe chhong zela 10% lo kan ti kha linesman 10% lo kan ti kha ron ma chu hela yan kan chin chia tura chu trophic level tina hianin energy kan huwa kha 10% sel chawakha a in transfer ti lai kha kan chin chia tur berani energy flow a its trophic level a first trophic level atangin second a third a fourth a eng level a po energy will be transferred only 10% of its content ka aron zel don trophic level can be autotrophs producer kan ti tangin green plant kan ti tangin heterotrophs herbivores and then carnivores top carnivores kan ti te aron di dona heng energy flow kan ti hi food chain le food web le ecological pyramid in content sang thaya food chain kan ti kha chonin a food chain represent feeding relationship in an ecosystem describing how energy nutrients flow from one generation to another hei chu kan hriat to saka food chain hi chu internan cons alawama heng ho hi anin ei chonga heng ho hi chu example ani food chain kan ti kha chu kan hriat thiam to saka food web ve thung chu hetia linear direction ang to phianin engki makha ombik lawa network karon ni tani a network so food web refers to complex network of feeding relationship among various organisms in an ecosystem heng hawa hi food web kan te khanin grass kha rabbit chau hian lo ei lo mai thaya chu wang chonin akal dan rang rang kha food chain kan te kha network ang aron kal vak khan food web kan te chu aron ne don refers to complex network of feeding relationship among various organisms in an ecosystem depicting multiple interconnected food chain multiple interconnected food chain kan te kha food web kan te chu aron ne don ani biotic component how hi interaction kan ti kha aron oma hemi tlenga hi kan endon biotic interaction a hianin mutualism hengo hi chin chiange ngai tur an ron so du lu tukania mutualism kan ti chonin both species are benefit mutualism commensalism ave thung chuan one is benefit and other is not affected zero ni yo another is not affected parasitism parasite a chonin pakhatin atuar parasite pakhatin atuara pakhatin ahlok pui thonga enternan kan taksa worms kan ti ang chiten lo oma rule hood kan ti ang chite chung ho chonin kan taksa a chotha zong zong kan ma mo tur kha min lo ei pui fe a ani chon host kan ti khanin kan tuar don ti nani parasitism predation one is benefited and another is harm competition both harms competition kan ti hi alo chuan enternan food competition mention animals conflict tiger le mihring te po lo kopta sela food competition aka tiger le men saron ton kha chun china ecological night kan ti kan hilfi na kan suito ka cho wang chun competition ron chon survival of the fittest kan ti kha omangaya cho wang chunin an pani in an tur ve don competition chuan and then amensalism one is affected and the other is not affected pakhatan eng ma hong nei lo ma sela antibiotic producing bacteria inhibiting growth of another bacteria antibiotic kan nei khanin antibiotic kan ti khanin eng ma hong nei lawa bacteria khan amar chu bacteria dang kan ti khanin alo tuar fe thongani amensalism facilitation one species indirectly benefits another hemi ta kai chu tlai chu na to lo ni mo mutualism commensalism amensalism competition predation parasitism heng hawa hi unrelation song song hi unrelation song song hi kan lo chin chia don nia yes ecological pyramid hi kan soi tlang lo long pyramid of number a chonin heng hawi grassland ale aquatic ecosystem kan hothaya upright in pyramid of number grassland a enternan grass hi alo oma grass kha tam beranga grass chunga a2 kha grasshopper kan ti kha grass ai nan tlem grasshopper a2 kha re chan lo oma ti chonin an tlem zel an tlem jeng chu pyramids kan ti kha a base kha aliananga and then azui chhosel don ti nani pyramids of number chu tiang bokin tui puilama po chu tiang bokin tui puilama po kan huwa aquatic kan ti khan grassland and in pond he pyramid of number kan ti hi it can be inverted tree kan ti hianin savarang rangte bugs kan ti ang may parasite kan ti ang chi rang rangte anron thaya chu wang chonin pyramid of number can be inverted spindle shape kan ti te pon anom thaya tro chu wang chonin pyramid of number kan ti kha it can be upright and inverted upward or upright and can be inverted khalai kha kan chen chiang pyramid of biomass kan ti ve thongai chu thil nunga kha a kg in kan lote ve thonga chu a mass in weighted instead of being counted number of species nilawin weight of producer ka kan la ani chon weight of producer kha a base chonin aron sanga and then herbivores and then carnivores and then top carnivores kan te kha anron chau so biomass ve thong chon pyramid of biomass chon we measure weight instead of their numbers amar so he pyramid of biomass kan ti can be upright and inverted producer zooplankton ster ten oma chung how chu sanga an mani island zokin anaya and then carnivores an mani island zokin an ron eleta pyramid of biomass kan ti kha it can be upright and inverted amro chu pyramid of energy ve thong chu law of thermodynamics kan muta energy can be created not destroyed but can be transformed into another kan ti amro chu he energy kan ti hi producer kan ti hianin 10% sunlight atangin alo donga he primary producer kan ti hianina energy anei zong 100 atangin 10% chaw kha heta hiana chawle ani chunin 100 sunlight atanga ron kal kha 10% rules kan ti tangkan or 10% law kan ti tangkanin 100 ron kala kha 10% chaw primary consumer aron pe chaw 10% atangin another 10% chu 1% aron ni tani snake kan ti hi jonin tlemte chaw khalo changa chu wang chonin snake khen puar tur chonin frog kan ti ang chi to pakhat chaw ni lawin a item te pu khalo mamo to don energy mamo kharun sang don ei to wangai don te nani and energy kan te kha 0.1 atang hianin a ayat tam 1% aron kal ringot thailo it cannot be inverted it will be always upright pyramid of energy is always upright kan ti na chana kha hi unidirection ania bidirection ron chuk thale turin energy snake ata secondary consumer 10% ron chuk le tur khanin athai to lo kha energy of pyramid kan ti te chu anron ni ta khang chi rang atang khan pyramid of mass pyramid of number le energy kan ti tang te pokhani zo na ron kal thina and then bio accumulation and bio magnification ik an soi lo longa definition of bio accumulation and bio magnification kan nota pokhan om thau kha ei gradual build up of pollutant in an organism across trophic level tilahi kan chin chi apokang biomagnification a chonin lower consumer kan ti ang chi hoten lo oma and ternan example hianin mercury concentration kan ti hi many mata diseases kan ti hi 1956 an ho choka japan raman industry ho khanin mercury kan ti kha tuipui an lo pe chok ringota chu sangha ten an lo eya kha sangha kha a aya lianin alo e le chu energy kha or mercury kan ti kha sangha te na an lo e kha a aya lian so khin an lo e le chu energy converted to different trophic level kan ti kha eta trophic level rang in pass chawang che khanin biomagnification na chuan pollutants concentration kha trophic level rang a in pass chawa amar chu bioaccumulation a chonin individual species or organism kan ti khan individual organism a pollutant kan ti kha a in khol khom don and ternan mishing in poison lo eila ke mani han kan ai tampo le midanga khanin kan pass to don lo midanga kan pass don lo ani la pon sa zu in atur lo eta sila midanga khana pass to don lo bioaccumulation ho cho kha individuals organism or species kan ti khanin atur me don ti nani biomagnification ave thung chuan species danga a in pass chong don trophic level across trophic level and then impact on organism affect individual organism amplify impact at higher trophic level chu wang chonin biomagnification le bioaccumulation hi hriat pol lo tor bioaccumulation a chon individual organism a khan pollutants kan ti kha in khol khomang biomagnification a chon small organism atangin higher trophic level a aron chawanga a ei tu kha aron lian chau zelanga and then final consumer kan ti khanin atopa alo tuar donani across the food chain through predatory prey relationship bioaccumulation ve kha chu single organism over its lifetime chu wang chon biomagnification kan ti kha exam na he minimata diseases kan ti anron zot thina caused by severe mercury poisoning It was first discovered in 1956. Biomagnification aka kan hretia manga ete trophic level ranga kanin aron in past hauzelanga chu pollutant na chu final consumer khan neurological disorder minimata diseases bika chonin mercury contamination avangin aron torta a bioaccumulation vetung achonin individual organism khan taksa pollutant na kholkhom zela atopa chonin anun na ina tortlawa alaw bawral tani amarcho biomagnification a vetung chon individual level la tangin heta higher trophic level a aron chawa and then top consumer kan ti te khan antor vetung ani yes helai MCQ omna thlenga tang hianin kan soinga kan du to kang decomposer or decomposition kan ti kha amain kan soi to biotic component da anom food chain te po decomposer kan ti hawi khoya tangin nge intan kan ti chonin death plan kan ti te ani lopon animals khatiang an lo thia khang ang ruanga tang te khan aron intan thi chu detritus kan ti khani chu detritus a chonin kan no ta khan lo fi lo pal tai kan zo manga fang mir kan ti te fungus farmer kan ti ten ron thaya agriculture colony chu detrivorous detritivores kan ti ang chi hui detritus atang khana ron in don na thel kan ti ang chi ngot te poka fang mir ho khanan lo pukol mai thaya fungus farmer tin soi thina en termites kan ti te artworm beetles sea cucumber kan ti ang chi te en hela hinin mushroom fungus kan ti ang chi ho zong zong te poka mushroom te poka fungus anin decomposer an niti kan soito scavenger kan ti hi anom leya decomposition hoya scavenger vulture eagles well dog kan ti ang chite vultures eagle and well dogs kan ti ang chite scavenger kan ti hoyan oma in decomposition process aka humification humus formation and then leaching catabolism breaking down organic substance aka inorganic substance and breakdown dona and mineralization kan tiang cheu kha a process a aron omdon heng hawa hianin decomposer kan tiang chi haute kha bacteria fungus slime mold kan tiang chi haute anni hei UPSC question anron zot tawa which of the following are detritivores aron tia A B C D heng hawa hianin hanris tin shim tau kan riat pakhat tal la chon A B C D chata khan kan rin ber UPSC question ania C question mark aron datela remro tamidang C yes jellyfish kan ti hi fish decomposer khanan telawa seahorse po hi fish thawan ni adang hi kan lo thelawani pon so eliminate thai tur khanin UPSC chon aron te thina ani chonin 4 hi ani lo ti kan riat to chuan 4 om lo na zonga kha C is the right answer aron ni tani naktuk zana tangin biogeochemical cycle bio means life and geo means rock tin kan soi mai ang hetai chon chemical cycle kan ti kha aron oma nutrient cycle kan ti te sulfur kan ti ang chi te carbon cycle kan ti ang chi haute kha naktuk zana tangin kan enanga kan no ta khan tiang ho hi a thau tro ei nang chi lo india amar ai nang lawa adika amaro chu yes try fa karon da don nia remrotan da turin min titlat mai chuanin adam enges zo do emo ala omem not kha drive karon da don nia tunaka man lai kha Okay, zo na om lo chuan in tlem in kan pel thui ta dawa kan du to ka zawa in mu thau le